It seems like Ilhan Omar can't keep her face out of the news, whether she's doing her best Louis Farrakhan and denigrating the Jews, or simply proclaiming that her modus operandi involves a gas canister and aimless, endless rage for the country from which she prospers. Her lightning rod antics have soured the land of milk and honey. In her new controversy, the Somalian saboteur is proving that you don't have to steal people's hearts so long as you can steal their votes.
Never tell them who I am. Well, how dare I'm a man. Six shooters in both my hands. I'm a cold-blooded brother, a real bad mother. Watch out, honey, here I am.
Unfortunately, Ilhan Omar is back in the news, and whenever Ilhan Omar is in the news, you know that it's nothing good. So, Minneapolis police are looking into explosive voter fraud allegations following Project Veritas' video involving Ilhan Omar campaign. And if you have not seen the videos, there are two of them now. It shows one of the members of the Somali community in Minneapolis who is apparently working on behalf of Ilhan Omar. Of course, in the first video, we don't really know whether Ilhan Omar knows about this or exactly what's going on in terms of top-down structure. But he's going around and he talks about how he has a car full of ballots. He has over 300 ballots in his car that he's collected. Well, the next day, Project Veritas dropped another video showing that there was cash exchanged for these ballots. So they are buying people's votes. They're paying people in order to harvest their ballots and steal their votes. And there's a whistleblower who is talking about how it isn't just people who are willing to go along. They are actually going into the voting booths with these people and making sure that they vote for Ilhan Omar. They go in as translators. So even if these people are able to speak English, they go in with the voter and they make sure that that person votes for Ilhan Omar. You have to wonder whether this was going on when she first took office a couple years ago. I would think that if she's doing it now, she was probably doing it then. And Ilhan Omar has showed a flagrant disrespect for America, for Western civilization, for the cultures and values of this country. In fact, I just did a video on her recently where I was talking about how in her book she talked about, I'm going to be paraphrasing here, but how the way that she operates is she just goes into a space and sees how she can burn it all down using her religion, her skin color, her, all of her intersectional aspects, how she can use it to burn down wherever she is, to set a fire. Pretty disgusting person, and she's a destructionist. That's essentially what it comes down to, is she is all about destruction and creating nothing. So we have this from the Daily Wire. Minneapolis Police Department announced on Monday afternoon that it is looking into explosive allegations of voter fraud following a video that was released yesterday by Project Veritas that involves a campaign worker for Democrat Ilhan Omar. An investigation from Project Veritas purports to show that Omar is engaging in illegal ballot harvesting and a cash for ballot scheme in her district in Minneapolis, Newsweek reported. And in the video, you can actually see that it's not even a secret in the Somali community in Minneapolis. Now, Minneapolis has a significant Somali refugee community. I'm not sure if they're it sounds like they're located kind of in a central area of the city, like they have their own kind of some little Somalia or something like that. But they talk about how it's an open secret there. Nobody really talks about it, but everybody knows. And they talk about how Ilhan Omar, they know that she's behind it. They know that she is the ringleader of this operation. It is not, we hear about these operations sometimes of these cash for ballot schemes. We've heard, Michael Bloomberg in his third year of in his campaign for his third mayoral term of New York, he paid $142 a vote. And we know this from the whistleblower who talked about how mail-in voting is mainly a scam and how fraud is the rule, less the exception when it comes to mail-in voting, and how he was an operative committing that fraud. And he talked about how Michael Bloomberg was paying $142 a vote, and he laughed saying that I could have gotten him those votes for 70 cents on the dollar. Ilhan Omar, I mean, this seems to be a Democrat operation. We all know that the Democrats are trying to steal this election. Otherwise, they would not be doing everything that they could to undermine the people's faith in the election through mail-in balloting, because we all know that universal mail-in balloting is wrought with fraud, and it is susceptible to fraud on so many different levels. We've already heard stories. We heard about in Pennsylvania, there's 9 ballots that were found in a ditch. And sure, you think, oh, well, it's just 9 ballots. That's not going to swing an election. No, but when you have that happening all over the place, it adds up. And that's the whole point, is they do a little bit here, a little bit there. You do one big move, and all of a sudden it gets caught, as we're seeing now from Ilhan Omar. Most Democrat operatives are smarter than that. They know that you do a little bit here, a little bit there, and eventually it all adds up to enough to overcome the election. I would think that most of the voter fraud isn't something they do on such a large scale that it becomes obvious. They do it primarily to cover the margins of error. That is of course my best guess. But when you have people like Ilhan Omar, who is engaging in this so openly, I mean, we have one of her operatives is sitting there making, I don't know what social media platform it was, might have been Snapchat, bragging about all of these ballots that he has with him, how money's so important, and he's making all this money, and just bragging that he's out there doing this stuff. They feel like they're invincible, but we all know. I mean, that's how the left and the Democrats have tended to operate, as if they are invincible. Hillary Clinton operates as if she's invincible. Joe Biden, and Hunter Biden, with all of the cash that they've been getting out of Ukraine and China, acting like they're invincible, like they're never going to get caught, like it's never going to come back to bite them in the ass. But here we go. And let's hope that we find out more of this stuff and more information, because I do not think that Ilhan Omar is the only one engaging in this sort of activity. I mean, we've seen in many states they've tried to even take away the signature verification on these mail-in ballots, so that if the ballot is there, it's good to go and doesn't need to be verified in any way, shape, or form. That makes it a lot easier for them to go around stealing ballots, filling them out, and then not having to worry about whether they match the signature on them. So they're not even trying to hide the fact that they are cheating this election. It is happening. It's known. I don't know why there's nothing we can do about it. They're doing illegal things right in front of our faces and not facing the consequence for it. And I'm getting kind of tired of hearing about all of these investigations and none of them bearing fruit. I get that these things don't happen on our own timeline, but this should have been taken care of before now. I mean, I know they threw COVID on us just earlier this year, and they used COVID as the springboard for being able to do this mail-in balloting business. But you got to act swiftly and nip this in the bud, because you have to be able to sense when these Democrats are playing dirty tricks, which means if the Democrats are working in an election, they're likely playing dirty tricks. We know the nature of the Democrats by now. Why are we continuing to underestimate them? Maybe there's something that the Trump team knows that I don't. But I wish that we, the people, had a little bit more assurances that this was going to be taken care of. So, the MPD wrote on Twitter, allegations of voter fraud being evaluated. The MPD is aware of allegations into vote harvesting. We are in the process of looking into the validity of those statements. No further information is available at this time. Of course, no further information is available at this time. That is kind of what we've been getting from all of these investigations into Democrats. So the video shows Liban Mohammed, brother of Minneapolis City Council Jamal Osman, saying in a Snapchat video, just today we got 300 for Jamal Osman. I have 300 ballots in my car right now. Numbers don't lie. You can see my car is full. All of these here are absentee ballots. Look, all of these are for Jamal Osman. How do these people think that they can put this on social media publicly and not get found out? I mean, the audacity. These people think that they can operate with impunity, undermining our entire legal and electoral system. Newsweek added, an anonymous person identified as a former Minneapolis political worker told Project Veritas that Omar's campaign deputy district director, Ali Isigani, was coordinating ballot harvesting from elderly people in Charles Horn Towers, a housing complex in the city, before the Minnesota primary on August 8th. The same person claimed that women and young people were paid for their ballots during the primary. Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman's office said on Monday that the Hennepin County Attorney's Office has received no information or cases involving so-called ballot harvesting in any elections held in Hennepin County this year. If Project Veritas has evidence of election law violations, they should provide it to the Minneapolis Police Department. Well, they provide it to the entire country. You've seen the evidence. President Donald Trump responded to the investigation for Project Veritas by writing on Twitter, "This is totally illegal. Hope the U.S. Attorney in Minnesota has this and other of her many misdeeds under serious review. If not, why not? We will win Minnesota because of her, and law enforcement save Minneapolis and IRO range." Yeah, it's really bad, and we also have another article here from the Daily Caller. Around 1,400 Virginia voters received 2 absentee ballots in mail. Officials blame printer problems. I don't think they were printer problems. And I also would bet a shiny red penny that most of those 1,400 voters that got absentee ballots were Democrats. Registered Democrats. That wouldn't surprise me. So we really need to get this election underway, because under control. So we have here around 1,400 voters received 2 absentee ballots in the mail, according to multiple reports. A problem with the printer resulted in employees accidentally sending out 2 ballots, Fairfax County officials said, according to the Washington Post. How many times have we heard these kind of BS excuses? You know, we hear it from big tech all the time. When they ban somebody on the right for doing nothing wrong, they just don't want the information getting out, and they say, "Oh, that was an oversight. We made a mistake. Whoops, they're back." But meanwhile, the story's been swept under the rug. It's really, they're not even hiding it. They use these flimsy, thinly veiled excuses that, to anybody who isn't a tribalist partisan hack, can see right through them, because they all blow one direction, all of them. So officials instructed people who received 2 ballots to destroy the second, and noted that only one would be counted. Oh, officials said that, did they? Good, well, I guess it's all taken care of. But we don't trust the officials. We don't. A high demand for absentee ballots amid COVID-19 concerns was also partially to blame, officials suggested, according to the Post. Now, it seems to be that they are, I don't know whether they're conflating absentee ballots with just universal mail-in ballots. Because universal mail-in ballots are a logistical nightmare in terms of security. Securing a universal mail-in ballot, there's too many moving parts. There's no chain of custody for the ballots. It's going to, any opportunist is going to look at that and start drooling. Any political opportunist with no ethics or morals is going to look at that, and they're just going to start salivating. So despite the extra ballots being mailed, experts have confidence that widespread voter fraud is not an issue. We keep hearing this. We keep hearing this over and over again. That experts have confidence that there's no evidence of widespread voter fraud. Yet we keep hearing the stories. We keep hearing about Paterson, New Jersey, where we had four county or local officials indicted for voter fraud through mail-in balloting. We've heard of massive voter fraud operations from a whistleblower from the New York Post. And a lot of times it seems to be the same outlets that are reporting the individual stories of instances of voter fraud or missing ballots or all these problems with mail-in balloting. They'll highlight them in individual stories, but when it comes down to their actual political diagnosis of the election, they say, "Oh, there's no evidence of a problem." Except for all the articles you've run that shows evidence of a problem. I mean, it's undermining all faith in this election, and nobody is going to accept the results. It's almost a guaranteed path to civil war. But maybe that's what they want. Maybe that's what they want. I don't know. Anyways, guys, if you haven't hit that like button already, please go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Parler at Ram Thorburn. And there are links to my Subscribe Star, Patreon, and PayPal down in the description below if you feel like contributing to the channel. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.